welcome to episode 50 of the Calon Yarns podcast. My name is Lynn and I'm coming to you from Cardiff in Wales in the UK, and this is a knitting, spinning, sometimes crochet, sometimes dyeing, but always fibre-based fortnightly podcast. It is Saturday the 3rd of April on quite a cloudy, chilly day here. It was quite warm and sunny yesterday, and we've had a few days of warm weather, but not so much today. I think it's going to be cold for these next couple of days. So yes, thank you so much for joining me. If you are a new viewer, welcome. If you are a regular or a returning viewer, as always, I'm so glad you've come back for some more, and I hope you are keeping well and have some projects on your needles and hooks that are keeping you entertained and busy. So yes, what do I have for you today? I have a finished object, I have a work in progress, I have some spinning, and that's about it really. It has been quite a fortnight. But yes, a few things to chat about, so I'll talk you through my knitting projects and my spinning projects, and then we'll have some chatter at the end. So what am I wearing? This is my Chauncey sweater by Isabel Kramer, and yeah, it's a wonderful pattern. I wear it a lot, I use it a lot. I knitted it from Isagar, Tvinny Tweed, and the white is the Raumer Lamul yarn. Yeah, love it, love it, love it. Use it loads, wear it loads, it wears well, doesn't pill, attracts hairs, but that's about it. It's a really, really lovely shaped sweater. So, yes, that's that. So I don't know if I'll have a great deal, I don't think it'll be a very long podcast today, but we shall see. Let us go on with what I've got to show you. So, my finished object, ta-da, is my party socks. And these are made from opal. These are huge, proper, joyous, pippy, long stocking sort of socks. Bright pinks, bright lavenders and teals. And then I did the contrast heel and toe in some fabulous West Yorkshire spinners. So yes, long socks. As I've said in here before, I love to kind of ruche my socks down, so I think this is probably my longest pair of socks. Not that it will go up to my knee. I haven't done any increases for the calf or anything, but I always, as I say, wear them ruched down with boots, etc. So yes, this is the yarn label. Is it going to focus? Yes, it is. So really bright and cheery, and I got these from a local to me yarn shop, Yarn and Yarns, which is just in Penarth up the road. So that's the opal, and it is in the shades and dye lots here, but I didn't realise that party is dye lot in German, so they will always be my party socks. And with these colours, I think you can agree that's a pretty accurate description. So that's the main colour, and then the contrast heel and toes is in some West Yorkshire spinners that I had in stash, which is a really good match actually for the opal. It's quite a good workhorse yarn as well. And this is, what is the shade? Don't know if it says on there actually. 08 240. It's just yellow, it's bright yellow. Yes, so what I did was I split the opal yarn into 250-gram balls right at the very beginning, and I just knit until I ran out of yarn because I did an afterthought heel and obviously the contrast toes. But interestingly, if I line up the toes, there's quite a significant difference in the length. Didn't bother measuring the length, it doesn't really matter. But for interest's sake, look at that distance, can you see? There's a good, I would say 2-3 inches maybe of difference there. Yeah, both weighed 50 grams, so clearly, which is a good lesson I suppose, isn't it, in different tensions, how different tensions can give you different row lengths, etc. So yeah, heels and toes in, yeah, pretty accurately the same place, but a vast difference in the length of the sock. Doesn't matter to me, not a problem, but I thought of interest to do with tension and how just that tiny little bit of change in tension can really make a difference over quite a long project. So these will be having a little bath, a little soak now after I've finished, and I'll probably put them on the blockers just for the feet, but I'm not too fussed about the leg of the sock being stretched, etc., because they're a pretty good fit at the moment. So yeah, they are done. And I know I said I was going to do a pair of socks a month, but I think these, because they're so long, they sort of they're classed as a 2-month pair of socks, let's hope, because I've only done, this is only my second pair of socks this year. What are we on? Oh gosh, we're in month 4, aren't we? I better get a little bit of a wriggle on, I think, with my socks. But yes, nice to have that one on off the needles, and a nice bright colour. So that is my only finished object, fluff in my eye. But what else have I been doing? Oh God, I really have got fluff in my eye. We're fine, we're good. But so I cast on my Zweig sweater by Caitlin Hunter. This is my second Zweig. I love the pattern, I love the sweater. I wear my other one a lot, so much so that it's really starting to kind of wear out now. So I wanted to make another one, and what I love about this sweater is that it gives a real feature to the yoke. I know there's a lot of yarn featured here in an ordinary colourwork yoke, but this one is sort of it's sort of a lacy yoke as well. So have I got a picture here? No, I don't think so. It's fine, you'll see in a second. So I am knitting this out of some of my own hand dyed in this lovely sort of spring green colour. It's almost like a wasabi colour. It's a little bit lighter in the camera than it is in real life. And this glorious skein of Fru Valborg yarn in the borderline, I think that one is called. So this is how it is knitting up. And look at that gorgeous contrast. I think that's working really, really nicely. So I've just started the lacy yoke section. So we've taken off, so it's no longer 2 colour work, if you see what I mean. We're now just solely into the variegated yarn, and will be until we kind of get to the end of this pattern, because it's more of a lace pattern, I suppose, than a colour work pattern. There's a little bit of colour work at the beginning of the section, and it's a little bit of colour work at the end, but it's mainly a sort of a lace yoke. But yeah, had a little bit of a to and fro with the gauge. So I started it in the correct needle size, which I think was 3.75. I can't quite remember now. But the fabric of the fabric was a little bit too open, a little bit too stretchy. So I regrouped, redid it, went down a needle size, but up a garment size, and that's creating a much nicer texture. So I think originally, the row count though is the issue, because originally the row count was 31 rows per 4 inches, and what I'm getting now is about 39 rows per inches. Let me just check that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, it should have been 31 rows per 4 inches, but I'm getting 36 rows per 4 inches. So whilst, you know, you can easily adjust the width size in a way by either going up a pattern size and down a needle size. That can sort of work itself out quite easily in terms of the instructions, but obviously with row counts they can be slightly more difficult to judge, and you've got to keep an eye on those as well, because if I am working to my gauge, then the whole garment is going to be a lot shorter, which is fine. But it also means that the yoke section will be a lot shorter, any increased sections will be a lot shorter than are suggested in the pattern. So I've added a couple of rows here and there to counteract that issue. So in the colour pattern itself, where it's supposed to be 2 rows in one colour and 2 rows in the other, I've done 3 in one and 3 in the other, just to balance things out a little bit. And I know then once I get to the end of the lace yoke that I may need to knit a little bit more, so that I am on the correct row count or length of garment to be able to carry on and split for the arms. So it just means a little bit more maths, and I think it's there's certain sections that are repeat 7 rows, because in the pattern it doesn't say repeat for however many inches, which is an easier conversion. It says repeat for however many rows. So you've just got to make sure that you convert, well, 7 rows is around about an inch, therefore I'm going to have to do about 9 rows rather than the 7. So it's little sums like that to kind of keep an eye on the length of the project. So yeah, some maths, but we're doing okay so far. But the contrast I'm really pleased with, and I hope that this afternoon I'll get a little bit more time to push down through that section, through the charted pattern. And it comes in a chart and a worded lace pattern as well. So you've got plenty to choose from there. So yes, woeful little amount of knitting has been happening over these past couple of weeks, but we've had quite a few things going on which I'll chat about afterwards. So yeah, that's all tucked away, and spinning then has been my other thing. Let me get all my ball bands sorted. Yes, I am spinning up for the Snefald Shawl, which is a circular shawl that you steek. It's a triangular shawl when it's finished, but it's created in the round. You knit it in the round and then you steek it to create that triangle shape, and it's the Snefald Shawl by Fibre Hut. I'll put all the details below, etc. But I am spinning for that project, and I am getting there slowly. It's taking me a while to get everything ready. I've done the white Jacob. I have spun up the black Jacob, so it takes 4 colours in total. So I've gone for 3 colours that are natural tones, natural fibres, natural shades, and then I'll have 1 colour that is a dyed colour. I'm not sure what colour that will be yet, but I've got some ideas. So yes, this is the black Jacob, and it is really interesting because in some lights on the camera now it looks kind of a grey black colour. And then in other lights it looks quite brown. It's looking quite black today, but when I was spinning it up the other day in glorious sunshine, you could really see the brown tones coming through. So I think it'll be lovely to work with the grey and the white that I'm going for. So I'm hoping for a DK. This hasn't had a bath yet, and this is already 2-plied up, ready to go. I've done as little twist as I could possibly get away with because I didn't want... It's not scratchy, but it certainly has some rusticness to it, shall we say. And obviously with the, it'll be around my neck, so I just want to make sure that it's not too coarse. So yeah, so trying to put as little twist in it as possible, which has caused me some issues. You know, when it breaks going onto the wheel, it's sometimes as you kind of pull it back to reattach, it's kind of breaking because it is such a limited amount of twist in there. But that's okay. I'm glad I've persevered because it's got a real, it's got quite a nice drape to it, and it is still super soft. So plying up wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to cause me a bit of a nightmare as I tried to ply them together, but they did kind of hold themselves fine as they were coming off the Lazy Susan. Lazy Susan, not the Lazy Susan, the Lazy Kate. Is it Lazy Kate or Lazy Susan? How bizarre. Lazy Susan is the round serving plate thing. Honestly, I don't know what's happening to my brain today. And Lazy Kate is the spinning one, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's right. Why is it called a Lazy Susan? Why is it called a Lazy Kate? Oh, let's not go off on a tangent. Spinning, done that. That's plied. That's skeined. We are moving forwards. So that's that one. That's the black Jacob. So I've got white Jacob, black Jacob, and then the grey is Norwegian grey. Now this is quite a dark grey. Again, it looks a little bit lighter in the camera than it is in real life. But look at that fluffiness. A glorious natural shade. Now all of these are from the Fibre Hut. Let me just show you their logo. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of the Fibre Hut. So yeah, that's their logo. Check them out. This is how it's spinning up. Now look at this. Can you see in the camera? Come on, focus please. It has this wonderful ball. And even though it looks really fuzzy, it's not, get my chin in there. It's not too itchy at all. I was kind of, as I could see it going onto the bobbin, I thought this, because there's quite a lot of guard hairs in there, but even the guard hairs aren't coarse, they're not harsh. So yeah, that again has a lovely coziness to it, but it's not an itchiness. But it does kind of create such a fuss on the bobbin. It's really taking up its space. And I tend to spin, I think, semi-woolen, so I don't tend to kind of squash the fibres down as I spin. That's just my default position. I tend to kind of let the twist go into the fibre. So yeah, so I'm not squashing the hairs down anyway. Oh, my camera's going to go off a second. One moment. I'm back. I don't know, it does that sometimes. After about 15 minutes, it kind of shuts down. But there we go. So yeah, so I don't tend to squash the fibres anyway. So it was certainly hanging on to all this fuzz. It reminds me of, did anybody watch Captain Caveman when you were kids, that cartoon? And when Captain Caveman went into like his rage, there would be arms and legs everywhere. That's sort of how it kind of looks at the bobbin. It's just like, wah! Which is great. So I think that's going to be very, very cozy. So I've got this to do over the next couple of days, I'm hoping, and then I will have a look through some of my fibres and see if I can find something bright. Like I say, I think I've got a plan, and I will let you know next time. But yeah, that's all of the fibreiness really. Very short and sweet on that today, and I'll put a little link here to a past episode if you want some more fibreness. But yeah, general catch up now then really. So those of you that have been with me for a while will know that we have had some major renovations, some major remodelling of our kitchen, which has gone on for about 6 months. Finally it is done, guys. It is done. It is so done. However, there are still tools around, there are still boxes around, because I was hoping to take you on a little bit of a tour today, but it's still in a bit of a state, and we have to kind of get all our stuff back from storage and put it all in. So yes, so next podcast, I promise I'll take you on a little tour, like you're so desperate. But a few people have been really, really generous and kind and have said, oh, I am really interested in having a little look. So yes, it's quite major for us. The fact that we can use our kitchen again is really quite something. So yeah, the last couple of days have been going to storage, getting boxes, bringing the boxes in, trying to wash stuff up, and foolishly I didn't really sort through stuff as we packed it up. I was like, I'll do it the other side, it's fine. So now there's the constant, do we need this, do we want this, where's this going to go, where are we going to put this? So that is what we have ahead of us. So the last few days were quite fraught with getting the last bits and bobs of the kitchen done with the builders. And then on Friday, last Friday, what day is it today? Saturday. So last Friday, they finally kind of plugged in all the electrics so we could use the oven. We'd been able to use the hob on the gas stove for a little while. But yes, finally we had the oven usable. Even though all the tools and all their stuff was still around, we could use the oven. So we decided that we would bake something. It was great, it was perfect, it was nice. We had dinner perched at a table, which was lovely. So we all felt very smug and joyous, and then we went into the front room to sit and watch some TV, shut the front room door, and we got locked in the front room. So it's about 8 o'clock at night now, and yeah, the handle just wouldn't work. We couldn't get out of the front room. So it was just... So we had to, I had to climb out of the front room window. That's fine, we're on the ground floor. Thankfully it is a house, not a flat. So climb out the front room window, but obviously we didn't have our keys with us. All the keys to the house were in the hall, so we couldn't get back into the house. Thought I'd give my brother a call, who lives about 20 minutes away. He has a spare key, but then remembered that we'd just recently changed the locks, and obviously with the lockdown, hadn't been able to see him to hand over the new key. So our opposite neighbour used to be a roofer. So I thought he might have some ladders. Yes, he did have some ladders. So he came over with his ladder. Luckily, we had left the latch up on the window in the bedroom at the front, because otherwise it would have been game over. So I was able to climb out the ladder, climb through the window, come down and open the front door. But obviously Kieran couldn't get out of the front room. I still couldn't open the door on the outside, so he had to then climb in and then go into the front door. Oh, Lord above. Yeah, so that was quite a drama. And then Kieran was really worried because we wouldn't be able to lock the front room window downstairs. And he was like, well, what if a burglar comes in? And I was like, well, okay, yeah, they can take the telly. They can take some DVDs, please. Take them all. My husband is a big DVD gatherer. My knitting was in there. Slightly concerned, but I thought it'd probably be okay. But he was like, well, they could take everything. But they can't get out of the front room. I tried to point out that if they could open the front room door, then they might like to leave the front room door open, and that would be helpful to us, because at the moment we can only access the front room by going in through the front window. So that kind of appeased him for a little bit. But then he decided he needed to make sure that nobody could get in through the front window. So he put a bucket of water in front of us. So I don't know whether he thought he was in Home Alone or whatever, but decided that was the ultimate foil for any burglar, was a bucket of water in front of the window, because, you know, who is going to be able to access the house with that bucket of water? So I don't know if any of you are spending money on expensive security systems. I don't know, just get a bucket of water. That's all you need. So that, luckily, was the joyousness of the situation that made me laugh and laugh and laugh. And then we got the builder in the next day, who managed to open the door and took out the lock, and it was all broken. But yes, so after the smugness and the calmness of actually having to bake something and being able to use our oven, it turned quite sour quite quickly. But there we go, we're fine. All was fine in the end. But thank goodness the window is open, otherwise we would have been absolutely screwed. Yeah, so what else? That's sort of about it, really, in terms of adventures. Everything is cleaning kitchen goods, wiping floors, wiping down surfaces, hoping that that will kind of calm down. I'm on a bit of annual leave at the moment, so luckily I have the days to do this, but I don't want to be cleaning. I want to be knitting and spinning. So the plan is today to do a big old clean, and then hopefully a little bit of time tomorrow. And then we'll have to get back to the cleaning, but there we go. But ultimately, that is about it in my world. I promise next week I will have a little bit more to show you, and hopefully, and definitely a tour of the kitchen. So yeah, I'm going to leave you there. I hope you have a lovely weekend. If you are celebrating Easter weekend or you have some time off, then I hope you have a lovely few days. And maybe I'll try and catch up with you next weekend rather than leaving it for a fortnight, hopefully. Making no promises, but hopefully that'll be the case. So I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Apologies for the quickness, the randomness. If you're new here and you're still here, why would you be? But yeah, maybe check out some other episodes and see a little bit more of a coherent podcast, possibly. Anyway, that's the other thing I was going to say. I've had a few messages lately, which has been really, really lovely, around trying to track down some PT3 from Rauma, which is a yarn I really, really love, and had a lovely message from Helen from Nellie and Eve about her fibres. But I haven't been able to reply to them, and I think what it is, on YouTube, if you put in a link to a website or something, I can't seem to reply. I can see it in my email, but then when I click on reply, it's not there. It's not there in the YouTube list of all the comments. So I do apologise. If you've sent me a message with a link in it, that's why I haven't responded, because it won't let me respond. So thank you for those that sent me links about companies that are doing Rauma and ship to the UK. Thank you, Helen from Nellie and Eve, sending me a lovely message on YouTube about her fibres. And yeah, thanks to all of you that send me messages anyway. It's lovely to hear from you. But I will leave you there now, rambling enough. So have a good couple of days, and I will speak to you very soon. Diolch pawb, hwyl fawr, bye.